Hi everyone! So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to put together a coordinated set of thank you cards using embellishment clusters as the focal point, and I'll also show you how to make a matching holder to keep the whole set together. So let's get started. Okay, so step one is to make the embellishment clusters that will work together in the same color and style. I already chose 3 ink colors that coordinate with this paper collection, and I also chose several stamps that have floral elements with leaves so that I'll have different pieces to tuck in behind my sentiment and build a cohesive cluster. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment that will go in the center of each cluster. I'm actually going to do this in 2 different ways. On some of them, I'll be stamping the sentiment inside a little rectangle, and then on others, I'll be stamping it directly inside the circle scallop that I have pre-punched. This is going to give me a little bit of variety while still keeping everything coordinated for the entire set. Then I can choose which one I like best. For some of these clusters, I'm actually going to build them directly on top of the card front. Sometimes you can create a cluster ahead of time and then just place it right on the card front, but other times it really depends on the layout of the card. So for a few of these, I'll be building the cluster as I go so that everything fits nicely within the boundaries of the card template and the design stays balanced. As I was working through each of the card designs, I started noticing that some of them had a little too much open space. I thought the clusters looked nice, but the cards just needed one small extra element to finish the design. So I pulled out a small bow die and cut out several bows. I'm going to add one little bow to each of the clusters on the cards that will just fill in that space and just bring everything together. All right, now that the thank you cards are finished, the last thing we need to do is make the holder that will keep the whole set together. This is a really nice way to package the set of cards because everything's going to stay neat and organized, and it also makes a perfect gift. Okay, to start the holder, you'll need one sheet of white cardstock that measures 8.5 by 11. First, along the 11-inch side, we're going to make 2 score lines. The first one is at the 5.5-inch mark, and the second one will be at the 7.25-inch mark. Then you turn your paper, and along the 8.5-inch side, we're going to make 2 more score lines. The first one will be at the 1.75-inch mark, and the second one will be at the 6.75-inch mark. Now we're going to go ahead and fold along all of the score lines that we just made. Once everything is folded and creased well, the next step will be to remove a few small sections so that the holder can fold properly together. Okay, so now we need to trim a couple of areas that will allow it to fold. On the 11-inch side, we're going to make 2 small cuts along the score lines, but we're not removing the center section. Instead, we're just going to notch a tiny bit on both sides of those cuts. That small notch gives the paper a little extra space so everything folds together neatly when we assemble it. And that's it. Now we're ready to start putting the holder together. First, fold in the 2 center sections, then add glue to those center sections. Next, I normally fold the back panel up and press the sides together so they adhere and start forming the shape of the holder. After that, I'm going to add glue to the 2 front flaps and then fold them over to secure everything in place and complete the box. You'll notice that the front is shorter than the back, and that is on purpose. I've used my bone folder to press everything down really nice and snug so it won't come apart. Now, the last thing I need to do is shape the holder. I'm going to take a long pair of scissors and cut from the back corner down to the front corner, which is going to remove a small triangular piece. Once that triangle is removed, the holder is finished and ready to decorate it so it matches our cards. Now the holder is finished, and I decorated it using the same designer paper that I used on the card. On the front, I created another embellishment cluster and added a really pretty bow just to finish it off and tie everything together. And then here's a look at the finished thank you cards that go inside the holder. I really love how the set came together. Using embellishment clusters makes it so easy to keep everything coordinated while still giving each of the card a little detail. I hope this project gave you some ideas for using your clusters when you're making card sets. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you're interested in this card set, you can check out my Etsy shop here in the description box. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.